Let me guess, this is you. You wake up, hit snooze a couple times until you finally have enough energy to grab your phone. After scrolling for about an hour, you probably get up, probably skip breakfast, and go to work a job that you don't like for 8 hours. After you finally get home, you think about going to the gym, but end up warming up leftovers from yesterday and watching TV. You then scroll on your phone until you feel tired and fall asleep, only to repeat that same cycle the next day, and the next day, and the next day. How do you break out of the cycle? So one of the things that college does really well is that it gives you structure. It gives you stuff to do. It gives you classes to go to. It gives you homework to do for when you're not in classes. And it gives you a social network for when you're not doing any homework. But I didn't go to college. For me, there was no deadlines. There was no homework. There were no classes. There was no routine. It was complete and utter chaos for a while. And it took me a while to realize that you need a routine. You need a routine to have some order in your life, to have some clarity in your mind. So I was forced to make my own schedule. For a while, I really struggled to stick to any routine consistently. And this was because I made it way too complicated. I put a ton of stuff in my day and I felt like I got a lot done, but in reality, I wasn't actually doing anything. I was just doing busy work. However, over time, through trial and error, I've come to discover how to make your ultimate daily schedule. And I say your very own because it's gonna be a little bit different for everyone. One of the things I'm gonna repeat a lot throughout this video is keep it simple. Stick to the principles that successful people have stuck with for the past couple hundred years. As long as you stick to a few principles that actually get the work that needs to be done, then you will be able to have a successful day, month, week, or year. So let's get to it. So there's 3 main traps that I see a lot of people fall into, and I'm just gonna name them and just don't fall into them. Number 1, don't work 14 hours a day. I know this sounds counterintuitive, but unless you're Elon, it's unlikely that you're going to be able to be efficient throughout these 14 hours. You see, after an amount of time, you start to get tired, you start to get fatigued, and the output becomes lower than the input that you're putting in. This is what's known as the point of diminishing returns, and it's when you want to stop working because the time that you're putting in isn't worth the output that you're getting. Number 2, don't time block every part of your day. Time blocking is great, don't get me wrong, but most of the time, life will get in the way. There is so much uncertainty in life, and one of the certainties is that uncertainty will happen to you. If you time block every single part of your day and you miss something, and then you miss something else because life will get in the way, you'll eventually get frustrated with yourself for not sticking to your schedule, but in reality, it's not even your fault. We can't predict everything that will happen to us. We can't time block our day to the exact minute. It's just unrealistic, and it's okay to have dead spots in your day to catch up on some work that you didn't accurately predict the time it would take, or just add some time in to relax and chill and add some spontaneity in your life. Spontaneity is so important for your happiness and well-being. Number 3, don't overestimate the amount of time in your day. One thing we all do is overestimate our ability to get things done. This is why when you first start making to-do lists, you write a huge to-do list and only get a couple things on it done. Most of the times it leads to more frustration and just quitting the whole thing altogether. I hate saying this, I really do, but try to start with the little goals so that you can accurately predict the amount of work that you're gonna get done in the time that you allow yourself to get it done. It sucks to be able to say that you have easy goals, but there's nothing saying that you can't push past those goals. If you have 3 things to do and you finish all those in a couple hours, then feel free to go ahead if you still have energy. Finishing that day with more things than you expected to do will leave you feeling a feeling of motivation and accomplishment so that you can continue this process and make it more enjoyable for yourself. So with the basis of these 3 traps to watch out for, I have made what I believe to be the ultimate daily schedule. And I think the most important part of creating a schedule is keep it simple. Keep it simple, 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 keep it simple. Do you remember that? Okay, cool, because I'm gonna repeat it a bunch of times more in the video, so be prepared for that, because if you take away one thing from this video, keep your schedule simple. The point of productivity is to create mechanisms so that your mind has to do as little thinking as possible, so that you can actually focus on what's important in your life. If you add all these different things in your schedule, your mind sort of gets foggy, and it overall takes away from the point of productivity. Keeping it simple keeps it organized in a clean manner in your mind so that you can get as much done in as little time possible efficiently. That said, I keep my routine so simple that it can be broken down into just 2 parts. Okay, so the first part of this schedule is to have a sleep routine. This means having a schedule for the first hour and the last hour of your day, because these are the two most important hours of your day. The hour right when you wake up and the hour right when you go to sleep are crucial to your well-being and success. So if you're anything like I was, you're probably slowly getting out of bed, you wake up, you grab your phone, and you're just very slow in the morning, like groggy, like everyone is. Now, especially this phone grabbing habit, this has to stop. This might be the worst thing that you can do for yourself in the morning. And I know it's the hardest thing to get rid of, but it is the worst thing for you. When you wake up, you're in a quasi-dream state, which is why you're all sort of groggy and not really aware of anything that's around you. And the worst thing that you can do for yourself when you're in this state is grab your phone and just throw yourself into the world of algorithms and social media. Not only this, but I mean, just think about it. When you're scrolling through social media, you are subconsciously comparing yourself to everyone that is on your feed. And I mean, why would anyone start off their day comparing themselves with people who have more than them? I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but like, that sucks. That sucks. It's the worst way to wake up. Stop doing it. Here's how I think of waking up. When you first wake up, you're groggy, you're slow, you're like covered in cobwebs. Now, if you grab your phone, you're picking each cobweb off one by one. You're still being very, very slow. I think the most important thing to do when you wake up is just immediately get out of bed. Shake all those cobwebs off, get a nice, clean, fresh start to your day. And I know this is a difficult thing, so a trick that I like to use is to just, the night before, I set my alarm clock on the other side of the room. That way, when I go to turn it off, I actually have to stand up, and you know, once you're already up, you're already moving a little bit, and you're ready for the day. So you're usually still gonna be in that quasi-dream state. So a lot of people like to meditate and journal to sort of ease into their day while still doing something productive. I think this is very good. Personally, I just like to get right into my day. So I turn on a podcast or a motivational video and I do 50 push-ups and 50 sit-ups. That way I get my blood flowing and I start the serotonin production in my body, which is nice. It feels good to do some exercise in the morning, get the blood flowing. After those 50 push-ups and 50 sit-ups, I immediately hop in the shower and that's it. That's the morning routine I do. Like I said earlier, it is so important to keep it simple. My morning routine is 3 steps. I get up immediately, I do my workout, I take a shower, and I'm ready to go. That's it. There's so many people who try to shove as many things as they possibly can into their morning routine. 15 minutes reading, 15 minutes meditating, 15 minutes journaling, 15 minutes cold shower. This just seems like a lot, and it seems like a very distracted and very busy way to start your day. I like to keep it simple. 3 steps. It gets my day going. It's fast. It takes probably less than an hour, so I have a little bit of free time before I get into my work. And that's it. I enjoy it. So what about nightly routine? Well, for your nightly routine, you are preparing your body to be in a state of homeostasis, or what we call sleep. In Matthew Walker's Why We Sleep, he explains the importance of sleep and the detrimental effects that not getting enough sleep will have in your life, short-term and long-term. This book honestly scared me to death, and it scared me enough so that every day I try to at least go to sleep on time. This is a very good book. It gets a bit long at time and it's super scientific, but it'll scare you to death about the detrimental effects that lack of sleep will have on you. So if you struggle with going to sleep on time, I totally recommend it. It'll scare you. On the topic of caffeine, I never have any caffeine, but I know a lot of people do. So a good rule of thumb that Matthew Walker says is to keep it before 12 to 14 hours before the time that you go to sleep. So keep that in mind. Rule of thumb, 12 to 14 hours before you go to sleep. So now the part about actually getting to sleep. Your body has 2 sleep systems. The first is your circadian rhythm, which is sort of like a 24-hour clock in your head, which regulates your sleep schedule in that 24 hours. So that's why it's very important to get up on time and have a daily schedule that your mind can keep along and follow along with. The second is your endocrine system, which produces melatonin, and melatonin is what makes you feel sleepy. It's what allows you to fall asleep. Now, your endocrine system makes melatonin when there's darkness. Due to evolution, we've evolved that way because, I mean, well, the Earth has been sitting around the sun for like, ever. So this is why you shouldn't be on your screens at least an hour before you go to sleep. And trust me, I know this is my least favorite thing. It sucks because you want to work until you get tired. You want to go on your phone until you get tired. It's just easy, it's distracting, and it's nice. But your body will not start that melatonin producing process because you're on the screen, and your body identifies that as blue light, sunlight. So you want to turn off all the lights an hour before you go to sleep. And I know this sucks, but here's a tip that I use to make it better. Right after I turn off all the lights, I put my AirPods in and I listen to an audiobook or podcast at 1.5x speed. Usually the podcast lasts around an hour, so by the end of the podcast, I'm feeling sleepy and ready to go to bed. It's usually a really interesting podcast, so it's an enjoyable process to go to. And overall, it's nice that I'm doing something still in the last hour of the day instead of just sitting in bed waiting to fall asleep. So keep all these factors in your mind when you're creating a schedule for the last hour of your day. Overall, the point is that the first and last hour of your day are crucial to your well-being and your success of your daily routine. Even if you only get the first and last hour right, you will still be doing better than most people. I've seen people who lack sleep schedules, who lack this consistency in schedule, this consistency in order. And even if you just get your sleep schedule right, you will be so much more productive, so much happier, and so much successful. I've seen this transformation in people, and it is unbelievable the effects that it has. So once you're ready to start implementing routine, remember that even if you don't stick to some of the other principles, at least stick to the first hour and the last hour of your day, because those will be, in my opinion, the most important 2 hours of your day. So now finally to the actual schedule. The biggest problem when it comes to the schedule is that people don't have a sense of direction. When they work or plan their day, it's sort of like they're just aimless. And this to me seems unappealing because it is your perception of goal orientation that guides you through life, or at least in my opinion. So I want to explain to you how you should make your schedule following a book called The 3 Alarms by Eric Partaker, which I've read recently and it's had a profound impact on me. So the book states that the 3 main areas in your life are your health, your relationships, and your work. So you have to find out what you actually genuinely want in these 3 different areas of your life. And then you have to literally take on the identity of the person who has accomplished what you want in all of these things. So I want to do a little experiment with you guys real quick. I want you to take out a sheet of paper at the top right in future me and then split the page into 3 sections. 1 for health, 1 for relationships, and 1 for your work. Then just write down the person that you want to be in these 3 areas. How does that person act? What has that person accomplished? Write down everything that comes to mind. Even the smallest details, like what time that person gets up, who specifically is in that person's life, for what exactly did that person win that award. Once you're done with this activity, you're probably gonna have a good idea of the type of person that you want to be as you start achieving these goals. The more precise you can be in this activity, the better off you will be when it comes to actually making your schedule. And the more sense of direction you have, the easier it will be to actually get stuff done in your day because you'll know exactly what to do. So now that you know exactly what you want, it's time to make your schedule. And this is gonna blow your mind, but there's only gonna be 3 things to do per day on your calendar. If you only focus on what actually moves the needle forward instead of finding busy work to do, then you can actually accomplish so much more in your life. I find that it's easy to break your day down into 3 parts, and you can break your day down however you want. Personally, I like to work in the morning, I like to work out in the afternoon, and I like to hang out with people more at night. So I have 3 reminders in my day. I have a reminder at 10 a.m. for work, I have a reminder at 6 p.m. for work, and I have a reminder at 7:30 p.m. for relationships. For each of these reminders, I will have one thing that I need to accomplish that day. What is that one thing that will actually move you forward if you repeat that same thing every single day for a couple years? It is consistency that actually gets you to success. It's not hard. You just need to actually narrow down to what you actually want to accomplish. And you do these 3 things in these 3 areas of your life, then you'll be able to become the person of your dreams. I think spontaneity is extremely important when it comes to life. There are going to be days where you don't want to follow a schedule, or you don't want to work, or you don't want to really do anything. And honestly, that's okay. Give yourself like 2 or 3 days a week where you just do something spontaneous, where you just go out on an adventure, or you hang out with friends, or you stay at home and watch movies, or just something that's not planned, not in your calendar, and not scheduled, because it is these moments in life that add value to it. A schedule isn't meant to suck the joy out of life, but it's instead meant to enrich it. It's meant to fill it with challenges for you to overcome. It's meant to allow you to find the joy in the little things in life. This is why your schedule shouldn't be complicated. The most important lesson to take from this video is to keep your schedule simple. Do what matters and what will actually make the needle move forward, not just stuff to make time go by. As I always say, time is your only finite resource, so it is in your best interest to use it wisely.